The Cold War was a period of geopolitical tension between the United States and the Soviet Union, lasting from the end of World War II in 1945 until the dissolution of the Soviet Union in 1991. This ideological and political standoff shaped the global landscape for decades, with both superpowers vying for influence and control over the world. The Soviet Union, under the leadership of Joseph Stalin and later Nikita Khrushchev, represented the communist bloc in opposition to the capitalist West led by the United States. The Soviet Union's victory in the Cold War would have had profound implications for the world order, potentially leading to the dominance of communist ideologies and political alliances on a global scale. A Soviet victory in the Cold War would have meant the triumph of communism over capitalism, with the Soviet Union emerging as the undisputed superpower on the world stage. This would have had far-reaching consequences for countries around the world, as they would have been forced to align themselves with the Soviet bloc or face the threat of isolation and conflict. The global implications of a Soviet victory in the Cold War cannot be overstated. It would have reshaped the balance of power in international relations, with communist ideologies gaining legitimacy and influence in regions where they had previously been marginalized. The spread of communism could have led to the formation of new political alliances and the erosion of Western influence in key strategic areas. In this video, we will explore the historical context of the Cold War and the role of the Soviet Union in shaping the conflict. We will delve into the significance of a potential Soviet victory and its impact on the world order, examining how it would have reshaped global politics and diplomacy. Join us as we uncover the key themes surrounding this hypothetical scenario and its implications for the future of international relations. Rise of communist ideologies. In a world dominated by a victorious Soviet Union, the spread of communist ideologies would have been inevitable as countries sought to align themselves with the new global superpower. Under Soviet influence, many nations would have been pressured to adopt communist principles in order to maintain political stability and economic cooperation with the Soviet bloc. Countries that embraced communism under Soviet influence would have likely undergone significant social and economic transformations. The centralization of power in the hands of the state, collective ownership of resources, and emphasis on social equality would have been key tenets of these communist regimes. While some nations may have willingly embraced these principles, others may have done so out of necessity to secure support and protection from the Soviet Union. The potential challenges of embracing communism on a global scale would have been numerous. Countries transitioning to communist systems would have faced resistance from segments of their populations accustomed to capitalist structures and individual freedoms. Economic inefficiencies and shortages could have arisen as centralized planning replaced market mechanisms, leading to potential hardships for citizens. However, there would have been benefits to embracing communism as well. The promise of social equality, universal health care, and education for all could have appealed to many people, especially in developing nations struggling with poverty and inequality. Communist ideologies also emphasized collective action and solidarity, which could have fostered a sense of community and shared purpose among citizens. The shift towards communist ideologies on a global scale would have had profound cultural and social implications. Traditional values and beliefs may have been challenged as communist principles prioritized the needs of the collective over individual interests. Art, literature, and media would have likely reflected the ideals of the ruling Communist Party, promoting themes of social justice and class struggle. In this video, we will delve into the complexities of the spread of communist ideologies in a world dominated by a victorious Soviet Union. Join us as we explore the challenges and benefits of embracing communism on a global scale, and analyze the cultural and social implications of a shift towards communist principles in different societies. Shift in political alliances. Following a Soviet victory in the Cold War, the global political landscape would have undergone a seismic shift as existing alliances realigned under a communist-dominated world. Countries that were once aligned with the United States and the Western Bloc would have been forced to reassess their relationships and forge new partnerships in the face of Soviet dominance. Existing alliances, such as NATO and the Warsaw Pact, would have likely dissolved or transformed as countries repositioned themselves in response to the new world order. Former allies of the United States may have sought closer ties with the Soviet Union to secure their own interests and protect against potential isolation or conflict. Conversely, Nations that resisted Soviet influence could have formed new coalitions to counterbalance the growing power of the communist bloc. The impact on international relations and global power dynamics would have been profound. The United Nations and other international organizations may have been reshaped to reflect the new balance of power, with communist ideologies gaining greater influence in decision-making processes. Diplomatic relations between countries could have been strained as traditional allies became adversaries and former enemies became allies in the pursuit of common goals. In this new political landscape, potential conflicts and collaborations could have arisen as countries jockeyed for position and influence. Territorial disputes, ideological differences, and resource competition could have fueled tensions between nations, leading to regional conflicts and power struggles. At the same time, opportunities for cooperation and mutual benefit may have emerged as countries sought to navigate the complexities of the post-Cold War world. Join us in this video as we investigate the changes in political alliances following a Soviet victory in the Cold War. We will discuss the impact on international relations and global power dynamics, evaluating the potential conflicts and collaborations that could arise in this new political landscape. Explore with us the complexities of a world reshaped by the triumph of communism and the realignment of global alliances. Economic transformations. In a world where communist ideologies prevail following a Soviet victory in the Cold War, significant economic transformations would have taken place as countries shifted towards socialism and planned economies. The principles of central planning, state ownership of resources, and redistribution of wealth would have guided economic policies in this new communist-dominated world. The shift towards socialism and planned economies would have entailed a reorganization of market structures and resource distribution on a global scale. Private ownership of businesses and industries may have been replaced by state control, with production quotas and centralized decision-making dictating economic activities. Global trade patterns would have been reshaped as countries prioritized self-sufficiency and cooperation within the communist bloc. The implications for global trade in a communist-dominated world would have been significant. Traditional market structures based on supply and demand may have been replaced by state-controlled distribution systems, leading to potential disruptions in international trade flows. Resource distribution could have been more equitable under a planned economy, with a focus on meeting the needs of the population rather than maximizing profits for private enterprises. Challenges and opportunities for economic development in a communist-dominated world would have coexisted. The lack of market mechanisms and competition could have hindered innovation and efficiency, leading to potential inefficiencies and shortages in certain sectors. However, the emphasis on social welfare and equality could have provided opportunities for sustainable development and equitable growth, particularly in regions that had previously been marginalized under capitalist systems. Join us as we delve into the economic transformations in a world where communist ideologies prevail post-Soviet victory. We will assess the shift towards socialism and planned economies, examine the implications for global trade, market structures, and resource distribution, and discuss the challenges and opportunities for economic development in a communist-dominated world. Explore with us the complexities of an economic system shaped by the triumph of communism and the reordering of global economic relations. Cultural evolution. Under a global dominance of communist ideologies following a Soviet victory in the Cold War, the cultural landscape would have undergone a profound evolution as arts, literature, and media reflected the values and priorities of the ruling Communist Party. The impact on cultural expression and societal values would have been far-reaching, shaping the beliefs and traditions of populations living in a communist-led world. Arts, literature, and media in a communist-led world would have been influenced by the principles of socialist realism, emphasizing themes of social justice, class struggle, and the triumph of the working class. Artists and writers may have been encouraged to produce works that celebrated the achievements of the communist revolution and promoted the ideals of collective action and solidarity. Cultural expressions that deviated from the official narrative could have faced censorship or suppression by the state. The changes in societal values, traditions, and belief systems in a communist-dominated world would have been significant. Traditional hierarchies and power structures may have been challenged as communist ideologies promoted equality and social mobility. The role of the individual in society could have been redefined in relation to the collective good, with an emphasis on community and cooperation over individualism and competition. propaganda and censorship would have played a crucial role in shaping cultural narratives in a communist-led world. State-controlled media and propaganda campaigns would have sought to promote the ideals of the ruling party and suppress dissenting voices. Censorship of artistic and literary works deemed subversive or counter-revolutionary could have limited freedom of expression and creativity, leading to a homogenization of cultural production. Join us as we explore the cultural evolution under a global dominance of communist ideologies. We will examine the impact on arts, literature, and media in a communist-led world, discuss the changes in societal values, traditions, and belief systems, and analyze the role of propaganda and censorship in shaping cultural narratives. Discover with us the complexities of a cultural landscape shaped by the triumph of communism and the influence of state ideology on artistic expression and cultural identity. Conclusion. In a world where a Soviet victory in the Cold War led to the dominance of communist ideologies, the global implications would have been profound and far-reaching. A communist-dominated world would have reshaped political alliances, economic systems, and cultural expressions, impacting societies on a fundamental level. The main consequences of a communist-dominated world would include the reorganization of global power dynamics, the realignment of political alliances, and the transformation of economic structures towards socialism and planned economies. Cultural evolution under communist rule would have emphasized themes of social justice, collective action, and state control over artistic and literary expression. Challenges and opportunities presented by this scenario would have coexisted, with potential benefits such as social equality, universal health care, and education balanced against challenges such as censorship, propaganda, and economic inefficiencies. The shift towards communism would have required societies to adapt to new values, traditions, and belief systems, challenging existing norms and hierarchies. As viewers reflect on the implications of such a historical outcome, it is important to consider the relevance of these themes in today's world. While the Cold War may be a thing of the past, the legacy of ideological conflicts and power struggles continues to shape global politics and international relations. Understanding the potential consequences of a Soviet victory in the Cold War can provide insights into contemporary challenges and opportunities facing societies around the world. Join us in reflecting on the implications of a world dominated by communist ideologies following a Soviet victory in the Cold War. Explore the complexities of this hypothetical scenario and consider its relevance in today's geopolitical landscape. Let us learn from history and envision a future shaped by the lessons of the past.